What's going on, everyone? I am extremely excited today because we get to play a deck with Third Sister. This has been on my list for quite some time, and wow, we got some new cards in the cunning aspect that fit perfectly with what we're trying to do, and I cannot wait to share some of the kind of minor combos slash synergies that we got going on that work exceptionally well for this list. A big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon, guys. Thank you for supporting the channel. It's been a ton of fun talking about all the set 5 cards with you all and playing some games. And also, I have a TCG player link in the description down below if you want to pick up any set 5 cards for yourself. Let's talk about Third Sister, guys. What do we get with Third Sister? Why are we playing her? She has this action to play a unit from your hand and it gaining hidden for the turn. This is actually pretty strong in sort of the mid-game scenarios. Playing a unit, making sure your opponent can't interact with it, can allow it to survive where otherwise it won't. And that can be pretty powerful. It's pretty straightforward. But actually, the reason why I like Third Sister here is she deploys on 5, has the force tag, very, very relevant. 5/4, usually a pretty bad stat line, right? We talked about with IG88. But if we don't get takedown or whatever other removal can actually hit her, she has hidden. And this makes her a lot more survivable, right? Can still be takedown, can still be Rival's Fall, that type of stuff. But because of hidden, it's very likely for her to be able to go ahead and actually deploy and get an attack, assuming your opponent doesn't have those removal effects, which means a lot of the upgrades like Hot Shot Plaster, Fallen Lightsaber, Vambrace Flamethrower are all significantly better on something that can be basically guaranteed to live. And all of our force events, things like Force Throw, Force Lightning, are more likely to actually go off and get some value, which is really, really important. Of course, we have a bunch of other force units that are going to work with some of those force cards, but it's really nice to have a guaranteed or more guaranteed force unit on 5 resources. But we also have cunning as our secondary aspect for a few reasons. We're playing the force base, the one that generates the force when a force unit attacks, because we have a bunch of payoffs for it. First off, Sorcerous Blast. This is going to go ahead and just, well, deal 3 damage to a unit. Really nice for 1 resource. We've got Kylo Ren, which can draw us a couple of cards if we play an upgrade. Not a great payoff, but another payoff. We have Darth Tyrannus, which is going to get ambush if we use the Force. And we also have Savage Oppress. This is actually one of the best cards in our deck with Third Sister because it's a 9/6 and we won't go ahead and take 9 damage to the base because we're going to use the Force. But we also are going to give it hidden, which means it's very likely to survive to actually get in an attack next turn, which is pretty nice. Liberated by Darkness, which is a change of heart essentially for our deck, but 1 cheaper with the Force. And then arguably the coolest thing in our deck, BAYLAN Skull. So BAYLAN, we can use the Force. If we do, we can return a non-leader unit that costs 4 less to its owner's hand and then replay it for free. Now, in our deck, it's really nice because we can refresh things like Shin Hati's shield, 7th Fleet's Defender shield. We can potentially re-trigger Dooku's ability, which is going to give hidden, basically re-hidden. We can bounce or flicker a Cartel Spacer to exhaust something. But the coolest thing in this deck is actually Lux Bonteri. So Lux Bonteri plus BAYLAN Skull, what this allows you to do is we can always just bounce one of their units to remove an upgrade or something like that. But if you have Lux Bonteri on the board, if you hit one of your opponent's units and they replay it for free, they are now paying less than the card's cost, which means you then get to immediately ready up something like a BAYLAN Skull because you can ready or exhaust any unit as long as an opponent's playing a card. So really, really sweet combination is, giving Lux Bonteri hidden so he'll survive to the next turn and then play BAYLAN Skull, flicker one of their units, get it immediately ready up 5/5. That's really, 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 really powerful. So really nice kind of minor synergies across the board. Force synergies, upgrade synergies with hidden, and we also have, Lux Bonteri as a little bit of a combo piece with BAYLAN Skull. And I'm really excited to dive in and see what we could do with Third Sister today. Into our first matchup, and I quite like this hand up against Ray Green, which should be an exciting one. Question is, do I want to start with Lux or do I want to go with the Cartel Spacer? I think I will just go ahead and go with Lux. I'm not super excited about it, as it's very likely that my opponent is going to be able to kill it. Yeah, there you are. Exactly what I was kind of worried about. Shin Hati as the unit here, not too bad at all. We're probably going to go with, suppose I could go with Shin because the shielded I think is going to be way more useful. But my opponent's going to just knock out the Lux Bonteri. Okay. General's Blade on the Yaddle. A little bit scary for that one. Let's go ahead and claim initiative. Force Throw or Force Lightning doesn't even finish off that unit. That is pretty crazy. Let's go ahead and just... I suppose we just attack into Yaddle. We need to get rid of Yaddle. We just can't have her on the board. It's the General's Blade's gonna be too brutal. It's gonna be too brutal. We can Force Throw ourselves to get rid of her, but I think I'm actually more interested in. I mean, we can Force Lightning as well. I don't like Force Lightning here though. Let's go with an attack. Let's go Force Throw my opponent, because if they don't have something that's 3 or if they have like a 2 or 1 cost card, I'll just trade off Lux Bonteri. It'll be fine. We can still play Fifth Brother on this, which is pretty nice. Opponent's really thinking about this. They have the forces with me, which means we could get to go out and kill off their units. They can play a 6-drop this turn. Ooh, we get to ready up a unit because they did utilize their General's Blade. One of the nice things about Lux Bonteri here. Let's go ahead and smack in for 4 here. And then we will play Fifth Brother and then pass. Liberated by Darkness is a great event. Force Lightning can be pretty good here. BAYLAN is going to be pretty nice here as well, I'd imagine. There's a lot of options that we have here. Would really like to get an attack in first before I play BAYLAN. But we'll see what ends up happening here. Can just flicker this Yoda. They're going to attack base. Interesting. Okay. Let's just go ahead and get an attack in for... Let's just go ahead and attack base. We will deal 1 damage to Fifth Brother, deal 1 damage to Yoda. Resupply, huh? Ooh, we could actually knock out Rey here. That would be pretty nasty. Yeah, let's go ahead and deploy, because we can actually finish off Rey. Yeah, let's go ahead and pay 4. Or I guess we could pay 5 to knock out Rey. That's going to be pretty gross, because what we could do here is actually just finish off Yoda with the Third Sister. They could draw an extra card, but this is going to allow us to have a massive board here, and we'll have the Liberated by Darkness, which is pretty gross if they have an immediately readied up unit. Looks like they happen to have the Village Protectors, which is okay. It's okay. Let's go ahead and just attack. We'll deal 1 damage to Fifth Brother, hit the Village Protectors. We'll just trade off here. Hopefully they play a 4 or less cost unit that doesn't have a shield token. There we go. Sundari Peacekeeper is great, because what we can do is attack it for 5. And remember, we could play BAYLAN here, use the Force, bounce the Sundari Peacekeeper. They could play it for free, but if they do, we ready up Third Sister and kill them. Which means, boom, readied up BAYLAN instantly. That's what I'm talking about with Lux Bonteri, guys. I am very surprised my opponent did not just kill off Lux Bonteri. I think my opponent definitely played this way more aggressive than they should have. What they probably should have done is just immediately trade off Lux Bonteri. Don't even bother with the General's Blade. They could have still played General's Blade on the Yaddle and then gone with the attack into Lux Bonteri, maybe play a 2-drop if they had it. But I definitely think they should have been playing the more defensive route. Force Lightning there, knockout Rey ended up being exceptionally good. And then BAYLAN, not that it was a game changer or anything like that, but it was just really cool to see that in game 1 we were able to actually pull that Lux Bonteri kind of combination off. So pretty sweet stuff. Into our next game, and well, not a fantastic hand, but we can definitely make it work. Let's resource this Hotshot Blaster, and I think we resource the... It's hard to resource Force Throw, man. Maybe it's Dooku. Maybe it's just Dooku. Adi Gallia is very, very scary. We're probably just going to get our Acolyte of the Beyond wiped here. And then we're in big, 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 big trouble. Another Fallen Lightsaber, not necessarily what I want to see here. They're going to actually attack the base. Sure. Let's go with Sorceress Blast just to knock out that unit. Again, not super excited about this one. Really, really would have preferred a better turn 1 play, but that's okay. Liberated by Darkness. We're going to go with Darth Tyrannus here. No ambush, of course. Let's go ahead and just play it out with Hidden. My opponent can't attack it with Tech. And next turn, we can go Fallen Lightsaber on the Third Sister and Force Throw, which might be able to bring us back into the game. The not having initiative here has been pretty nasty. There goes Chirrut. Sure, Chirrut comes in. Kylo Ren going to be the resource here. Do I want to steal Chirrut? I don't even think I care, really. Let's go with the Third Sister. My opponent could have takedown, but they could also take down my Darth Tyrannus. So nothing much that we could do about that, realistically. Tech is interesting, though, on turn 2. Right now, they can't really do a whole lot. They can attack into Darth Tyrannus. They're going to go with that play, huh? Let's go with something interesting. Let's Force Throw ourselves, killing Chirrut. And then we could go Fallen Lightsaber on either one of our units and actually finish off Tech. So this is going to actually be a really powerful play because they were expected to be able to just tank a hit with Chirrut with the Force, but now they're not going to be able to. So it kind of changes their game plan. We could force through them, but there's no guarantee they'll actually get away with it, right? And now they play a Poe Dameron. We're going to go Fallen Lightsaber, and now we're going to be able to wipe out Poe Dameron and Tech here in one fell swoop. So we're going to be able to knock out Poe Dameron, confirm the triggers, boom, attack. And now we got Xi'an Flurry, which actually is pretty strong, but we end up drawing pretty bad, pretty poor here. Rivals Fall, sure, my opponent had it. It is what it is. Let's go Hotshot Blaster in for a little bit of damage here. They're going to pass. Wonder why they're passing. Let's go Lux Spontanary. I don't really care if they deploy Anakin here. Let's claim initiative. I mean, they could kill Darth Tyrannus, but then they're going to lose Anakin next turn, so that's totally fine. Yep, they're going to attack Cartel Spacer. Not exactly an exciting hand by any means. I think we just trade off here. They've got Kiadi Mundi. Draw a couple cards. Let's go Cartel Spacer. Force Throw, huh? Well, we'll get rid of Xi'an. We'll get rid of our own Force Throw. They'll just hit us for 1. Now let's play Cartel Spacer with Hidden. We can exhaust the Kiadi Mundi. Force Throw, huh? Another 1-cost play. So they were saving Force Throw this entire time to try to get a Force unit down. And ended up being pretty weak. Kylo Ren, 5th brother. We're going to pass here. We're just going to start getting in some damage. Hidden for 2. Force Throw, huh? I mean, they had the triple Force Throw. Jeez. Let's get in for another 2. Let's go ahead and play a Hidden unit so they can't attack it. And that is a Mace Windu. That's a pretty strong card, huh? I think we are losing here. I don't really see us getting out of this. I mean, we have a lot of damage, but they have 10 damage a turn, which means they can win the game next turn. So pretty much end of game here. I think the key turn there was the fact that, and they have Shatterpoint, pretty strong here. The key turn there was our turn 1 and them having Adi Gallia, right? Our turn was just so much worse. There might have been other options that we could have had, but definitely not something that was incredibly powerful. We're gonna go. I should have given this Hidden, but it is what it is. We're gonna get in an attack here into 4 into the Kiadi Mundi, so at least we get to live. But what they could do here is just power up Watto and kill Darth Tyrannus. They could draw a card. We're gonna get in for 2 here. I was thinking they'd power up Watto to draw to kill off my Darth Tyrannus. I should have given it Hidden though. Now the game's definitely over. Oh, I mean, it's over on so many levels. GG. Well played for my opponent. Our turn one play was just so much weaker than theirs. That's one of the things where, again, them being able to have a high toughness unit and killing our unit and living, that's the key. With Anakin specifically, that was nasty. Okay, into our next game, we got ourselves Han 2, but with Force as the secondary here. I'm going to go ahead and resource my 2 expensive cards, and we'll just see what my opponent goes with. They've got an Ogdo Bogdo, which is okay because we're going to go with Lux Bonteri, and this is going to ready up immediately anytime they play something. So they're just going to have to trade off here with the Lux Bonteri, which isn't exactly super exciting for them, but they're kind of forced to do so, huh? Otherwise, we can... Oh, they're not going to. Okay, we're going to go Fifth Brother here, and we're going to probably immediately ready up a unit, but we'll see. That's going to be Yaddle here. Do I want to... I suppose what I could do is just kill off Octobogdo. I can't be sitting here taking too much damage here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get rid of Force Throw here. Or Force Lightning. They had the Yaddle plus Force Throw combination, and they have another play on top of Owen Lars, huh? Wow, that's pretty impressive. Got a Darth Tyrannus here, which looks pretty okay. Let's go ahead and just attack in to their base. No trigger from Fifth Brother, so that Yaddle can't go ahead and defeat it. I'm doing this because I have the Darth Tyrannus to go ahead and knock out that Yaddle, which is going to be pretty nice. And Owen can sit back and attack Restore 2. But I'd rather just him be forced to use that action if they want to get a fourth unit. I'd rather them go in and actually get the damage. Okay, yeah, Darth Tyrannus is going to come down. I'm actually going to the ambush first. Hit the Yaddle so that then Dooku or Darth Tyrannus gets that shield token. And I know I should be using the hidden mode of Third Sister, but I'm kind of trolling here. It is what it is, okay? It is what it is. We're doing a little bit of troll in action. It's great. It's great. Let's go ahead and see. We're gonna go ahead and claim initiative here. Jedi lightsaber, huh? Okay. I mean, that is fine, I suppose. Let's go ahead and BAYLAN Skull, use the Force. Just let them go ahead and replay Adi Gallia with no Jedi lightsaber, though. So pretty nice for us. Then we can knock her out with the Darth Tyrannus attack here. So I do like this spot that we're in. Let's see. Force throw for next turn. We have the Hotshot Blaster. I'm just going to go ahead and immediately... What do I want to do here? So I attack. I'll be trading with Han Solo. I suppose what I'll do is just attack into base. And I will go ahead and just finish off the Owen, I suppose, at this point. They can go ahead and do the whole trigger. Get themselves a Force unit, probably. But we'll be able to see what they pick up here, because they do have to reveal it. So we'll see how many Force units they actually have, and whether or not they're going to get something valuable here. Mace Windu. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Fell the Dragon on our BAYLAN Skull, huh? Wow, okay. I mean, they happen to have the BAYLAN Skull, which is pretty good. Or they happen to have the Fell the Dragon, which is pretty good here. Okay, so they're going to attack here. We're just going to go ahead and finish off Adi Gallia, and then we're going to finish off Han Solo here, and then pass. Reason I'm doing this is the Mace Windu can come down, but they can't kill anything with it because they don't have the Force right now. So Mace Windu's looking kind of mediocre. We have the Force Throw, which is going to be pretty nice later, and we also have Force Lightning, which is going to be pretty good should they deploy something like the Mace Windu here, which we could just go ahead and finish off. Okay, let's go ahead and attack. The question is, do I want to Force Throw them? I think I do. Let's go and Force Throw our opponent, just see what they have. Last card in hand. It's going to be a Chirrut. Great. That means we can go to finish off Mace Windu and 7th Fleet Defender. Pretty nice stuff there. We got another Force Throw, which is going to be pretty mediocre here. Looks like they got a Luke. What an insane draw, by the way. Let's go ahead and attack in for 4. And then, whoops, I should have Hotshot Blastered. That was a mistake on my part. Pass. Liberated by Darkness is a pretty good one. Vambrace Flamethrower can be pretty good as well. What an insane situation for my opponent to be in. We're going to go ahead and I think we just want to force throw my opponent so they can't play anything this turn. Crate Dragon. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess I'm glad I went with the force throw here, huh? Let's go ahead and put Vambrace Flamethrower on our Acolyte of the Beyond. What an incredible set of draws for my opponent. Luke into Crate Dragon. That is insane. That is insane. Let's go ahead and attack base. We will go ahead and deal 3 to Luke. Just knock that guy out. And we'll go ahead and attack in for 3. Pass. Another Hotshot Blaster. Going to be the resource here. Liberated by Darkness. Looks pretty good here. We can go ahead and yoink one of their units. So I do like that. I should have Hotshot Blaster, though, for sure. Last turn. Crate Dragon, man. That's crazy. Crate Dragon. Luke into Crate Dragon. Force is with me. They're going to go ahead and smack in. Not too bad. We are going to Liberated by Darkness, the tech here. And that's going to be GG, I imagine. GG to my opponent. Wow, that was a closer game than I thought it was going to be. The BAYLAN Skull on the Jedi Lightsaber up Adi Gallia was fantastic. And then just overall, the Darth Tyrannus, the force effects here were pretty good across the board. They almost had us, right? They almost had us with the Luke into Crate Dragon draw, but we ended up getting there. I like the force kind of strategy here going on with their deck. I do think it's pretty strong with Mace Windu's and all that stuff being able to deploy early. It's pretty cool, but we ended up getting there. Nice job. Into our next game. And by the way, I wanted to just quickly add here. Ooh, not a fantastic hand. Not a huge fan of what I've got going on here. But as I was going to say, you might be seeing like the swap between Petronaki and Karabast. They're both the kind of same program in terms of they're the same original site. But Petronaki and Karabast running on a little bit of a different engine as far as I understand. And sometimes, at least in terms of Petronaki, the site actually adds cards quicker. So that's why we're kind of swapping between the two. Double Force Lightning. Not exactly what I wanted to pick up. Acolyte of the Beyond is technically not even a force unit, so not really all that exciting to see. Let's go ahead and just get in an attack with the Lux. Get in for 3. And then we will play out the Acolyte of the Beyond, I suppose. Shinhati, not bad at all. I do like that card. Go ahead and resource the Lux at this point. My opponent, they can put some shield tokens on the Sabine's Masterpiece. They can do some work here. Potentially. Doom, huh? Doom isn't that scary here, actually, even though my opponent is going to be able to get some value rolling, because they won't be able to put experience tokens on Sabine's Masterpiece, but it does allow Sabine's Masterpiece to heal them, which is the scary part here. And we're just going to go with Shin, and then we could be able to, or we're going to be able to drop in, ooh, very explosive hand here, the Vambrace Flamethrower and the Force Lightning. We could Force Lightning down the Doom here. We could even go Fallen Lightsaber on Shin and knock out the Doom. We can go Vambrace Flamethrower on Shin and knock out the Doom. There's a lot of options here that we have available to us. We'll kind of see what they start with. Because if they attack, let's say Lux, which seems like a reasonable attack with Doom, then we could just attack it with Shin and then we kill off Doom, right? So I don't actually know if they're going to be encouraged to attack my Lux here. Vigilance, huh? Ooh. Vigilance knocking out the Shin is pretty nice here for them. Let's go ahead and just... I suppose we'll deploy Third Sister. And we'll see what my opponent's going to be doing. Because they may go shield token on Doom here. That's exactly what they do. Then in that case, let's go ahead and attack in with Lux here. See what they decide to do. Attack in for 2. Pretty powerful combination. The Vigilance, the Doom. My opponent's kind of got everything that they wanted so far. They're going to try to avoid getting Doom killed by attacking base, which means we can go into the Doom here. And then knock it out. Pass. Another Fallen Lightsaber. Let's go ahead and resource this Kylo Ren. We might be able to fully suit up our third sister here, unless they have a Rival's Fall or something. Because we can go another Fallen Lightsaber, another Vambrace Flamethrower, and it's going to be pretty nasty. Wow, they just deployed right into it, huh? I mean, yeah, we're just going to go... I suppose we'll just go Fallen Lightsaber part 2. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. My opponent can have a lot of different things here. Oh, they have that too, huh? Now what do we do? I guess we force lightning them because they'll lose the abilities. But I mean, if we do that, then... Wow, this is a tricky turn, huh? I mean, I guess we will just go ahead and attack base here. Because they can attack that and then they can trade off. But then we can go Vambrace Flamethrower on Lux to finish off Kanan here. Pretty crazy situation here. My opponent's kind of had a lot of different options so far. Let's go attack into base, trigger, deal 3 here. They're not going to be able to heal 2. And then we'll hit for 2. We'll pass. Shinhati, Dooku. I mean, I guess I'll resource the Dooku. Lothwolf, huh? I mean, we're going to attack, trigger, deal 3 to it, and just knock it out. We can use Shinhati plus Force Lightning here. Wow. Okay. That is one way to go. Let's go ahead and attack. Let's go ahead and play... Yeah, let's go ahead and play Savage. Use the Force. And then let's attack in, pass. And we'll see if they have some way to pump up their unit again to close out the game. Do they have another forces with me? Wow, they have double forces with me. My opponent kind of had it all here this game. I'm trying to figure out what we could have done differently. We could have attacked Kanan and just traded straight up. But that would have that was really close, by the way. My opponent, we didn't have a nice start to Force Lightning. The Lux Bonteri into the Acolyte the Beyond was not a very strong start. If this was like a 5th brother, the game would have been completely different. Why? Because Force Lightning, well, we would have had another Force unit, which we didn't really have the entire game, which was really unfortunate. And then having the Vigilance, healing the 5 damage and getting in, you know, the kill into Shin, which bypassed the shield token. It just kind of worked out perfectly for them. So good stuff on them. Del Vigilance Kanan, awesome to see. All right, into the next one, we got Thrawn Yellow. And I don't know if they know it over there. I don't know if they know it, but this is one of my patrons. I don't think they know it, though. Let's go to resource a couple of units, and I think we're just going to start off with a Force unit in Kylo. They've got them in a bot village, which means they got lots of cards to go ahead and put away here at the beginning. But we're going to keep it a secret. We're going to keep it a secret because I got no name. Oh, I should have used the hidden on third sister. Whoops. Let's go ahead and just claim initiative here. Whoops. I meant to resource the Kylo. Wow. Two plays already in a row. That ended up being kind of unfortunate. Director Krennic on turn 1, obviously extremely scary. Really don't want to see Director Krennic on turn 1, but that's okay. They've got Desperate Commando. All right, let's go ahead and just knock on Krennic's door here. This Shinhati is actually going to be defeated by the Desperate Commando. How insane is that? How incredibly insane is that? What a strong card in this matchup. Ooh. I am going to go for a risky play here. because I would really like this Shin not to die, but they could have waylays and all sorts of other things. But I'm going to go with Vambrace Flamethrower on Shin, just because if we don't do this, the Desperate Commando kills Kylo, kills Shin. Like, that's nasty, right? And my opponent's got the Onyx Squadron Brute, so they definitely are going to outpace us. With the Vambrace Flamethrower, at least it doesn't die, right? And now they get to do that. So at least they're going to trade off, right? We're just going to trade off across the board here. So my opponent had the answer with the perilous position. It's a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. We're going to claim initiative. We don't really have any other option to do so. They're probably just going to attack base or attack my Shin to get rid of it, but we'll see what they decide to do. No, they're going to attack base. Okay. Not too bad. Let's go with probably Dooku as the resource here. And I suppose we will attack base for 3. And we're going to hit in for 3. They can finish off the Shin. It is what it is. Not a whole lot that we could do there. We will deploy our third sister. We'll see what else they have. Pretty nice start for them. The Desperate Commando actually ends up being pretty powerful here. We're going to attack in for 5. They're going to pass. Sure, we're going to play Shin then. Merciless Contest, huh? Play Acolyte of the Beyond. Pass. Another Sorceress Blast. Not incredibly impressed by that. Let's go with Resource the Fifth Brother. And we'll just go ahead and get an attack in for 5. Let's go ahead and attack in for 2 here. Sure, we'll Darth Tyrannus. And now we can Sorceress Blast away the Brute. Which only heals them 1. Or 1 time. They have the Bazine. They probably don't even care about this Sorceress Blast. If I were them, I would just leave it in hand. We're going to claim initiative. Ooh, Liberated by Darkness and BAYLAN Skull. I do like both those cards. This means that what I can do is attack in a base for 2. And then potentially re-ambush the Darth Tyrannus. No, because I have to use the Force, so I won't be able to re-ambush. But I can re-up the shield token, potentially. Which is going to be pretty nice. Let's go BAYLAN Skull here. Re-up the shield token. Give that guy hit in. And then we'll see what my opponent decides to do. We have the Liberated by Darkness next turn. I was kind of hoping to get some value out of it outside of the outside of just the re-upping the shield. Maybe I should have attacked with Darth Tyrannus first. I don't know. Tricky play. Another Bazine. They can take the Liberated by Darkness, I suppose. It's not a bad thing to take. Hotshot Blaster. Oh, we ended up drawing another one. Well, that's pretty good for us. I do like the Liberated by Darkness here. But I think I'm going to go with Hotshot Blaster, Crafty Smuggler, and Sorceress Blast on this turn. So we're just going to get in for 5 here. What can my opponent have? I have actually no idea what my opponent's playing. Like, we saw the early game, right? Bunch of early game cards. We don't know what's in the mid to late game pile. So have no idea what's going on, really. They have the Merciless Contest, but they've got to have some big heavy hitters. There's an Elite P-38, which is fine. Let's go with, I suppose we'll just Sorceress Blast. That feels really bad. Yeah, let's just Sorceress Blast the Bazine here. Just get rid of it so they can't use that plus the Krennic attack to kill my Darth Tyrannus. And now they're put in a position where if they do attack Darth Tyrannus, we can kill off Krennic with the Acolyte of the Beyond. If they don't, then it's pretty good for us regardless. We're just going to go with Hotshot Blaster in for 6 points of damage. What do we get into there? BAYLAN Skull. Okay. And we have the Liberated by Darkness for next turn anyways. So, I mean, this is going to be a pretty tough game. Oh, there's the Chimera. That's one of the cards that I was kind of expecting to see, to be honest. And now we'll go Crafty Smuggler. Pass. Savage Opress. I mean, probably the resource that we could double play this turn. But I mean, we just Liberated by Darkness their Chimera, and then the game feels pretty bad. Let's go Liberated by Darkness the Chimera. And now my opponent's going to be in big old trouble. They can double trigger, kill off the Acolyte of the Beyond, but we get to go ahead and smack them. GG. Well played to my opponent here with the Thrawn deck. This is like I said, this is one of my patrons. They love their Thrawn, so I respect it. I respect the grind. But ended up getting there. You know, nice amount of DPS coming in from the BAYLAN Skull and Darth Tyrannus. The Vambrace Flamethrower ended up being just enough so that they had to utilize something else to finish off Shin, which ended up being okay. Like, we essentially traded Vambrace Flamethrower for their Perilous position, whereas otherwise they would have just used their Resistance Commando. I think that's what it's called, the Resistance Commando, a Desperate Commando, to, you know, knock out my unit and kill the other unit, which would have been pretty bad. You know, I don't want to see that. I suppose we still would have gotten the 1-for-1 trade, but it could just kind of force my opponent to have something else. So pretty good stuff. Into the next game, and I quite like this hand. You know, we got a Force unit on turn 1, we got a Force unit on turn 2. Sorceress Blast to be very, very good against my opponent. But I do think Obi-Wan is one of the strongest decks, one of the strongest leaders, if not the strongest leaders so far that we've seen in terms of some early testing, which is nice. At least you just kind of get a ton of value going with what Obi-Wan's trying to do. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? Just dropping in the Youngling Padawan, and boom, suddenly we are in kind of a lot of trouble, because we're going to get an attack here, and then they're going to just kill our Kylo Ren for free. You know, like, that's just kind of what goes. It's just, they made a 3-4 on turn 1. The beauty of Obi-Wan here. I think we're going to struggle a lot in this matchup. Oh, they're not even gonna. Oh, ooh. I mean, we could give this guy, girl, double hidden. There we go, double hidden. Shin Hati coming down. That's actually really good for us, because they did not just kill my Kylo. I think that was a little bit of a mistake for my opponent, to be honest. I think they definitely should have just killed Kylo, because what we'll do here is just knock out their Youngling Padawan, and I'm very happy with how this is turning out now. Very, very happy. We can use Force Lightning to finish off Grogu, or Force Lightning to finish off basically anything. We will discard probably Sorceress Blast here, and I will actually just attack for 2 here, because they'll probably attack, and then we can just go ahead and use 4 resources to finish off Ahsoka. Then we will pass. Darth Tyrannus ends up being pretty good here. And we'll see what my opponent decides to do. Resource, probably the Cartel Spacer. We got some powerful cards in hand. Eth Koth, huh? Okay, Eth Koth getting a little bit of ramp on. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's go ahead and just get in an attack with the Kylo Ren. Savvy Intervention Eth Koth. Not bad, not bad. Okay, let's go ahead and deploy our third sister. Remember, they cannot attack with Obi-Wan. We're going to just go ahead and knock out the Obi-Wan here. Boom. 8 damage to Obi-Wan. And then I suppose here I'll just hit Grogu. It's only 1 damage to my third sister. And we also have the Darth Tyrannus, which I'm hoping to deploy next turn, is kind of my thought process. But they have 7 resources. I mean, Keller and Beck can come down. Or Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon's good. I don't think they should have gotten Qui-Gon killed. I think that was a little bit of an oversight. Let's go to an ambush first. What they should have done is killed off the Kylo, because then they're left with a 7-5 that if I deploy another unit, then they can take out 2 more units, which is going to be really, really powerful, right? So I think that was definitely a mistake. Let's not resource anything here. I want some options. I want options. Definitely scary. I think my opponent... Ooh, there's home one. Ooh, home one's going to make this very difficult. Very difficult. There is the Grogu. It's going to attack in for 2. They're going to give an experience token over to home 1. Sure. I mean, I guess we'll just go Hotshot Blaster in kill Grogu. We'll play Crafty Smugs. Pass. Xian Flurry could be good. I do like Xian Flurry. Remember, BAYLAN Skull can't actually bounce this home 1. Oh, do I want 5th Brother plus Xian? Or BAYLAN Skull? I actually think I want the 5th Brother in this spot. Yeah. Let's go Cartel Spacer for 2. They're going to hit for 8. Makes a good amount of sense. Xian Flurry. I mean, I suppose we'll just use that, right? Deal 1 damage to each of us. They've got Sabine's Masterpiece now, huh? Yeah, this game is feeling pretty over at this point. Pretty over. They have the home 1. The home 1. 2. Oh! Maybe not. Maybe it's not over. Oh. Liberate by Darkness. Card's incredible. Yeah, what do we want to do here? I think we just go for the win. What we can do is use this to deal 6 to Obi-Wan, right? We'll just trade off here. They can trade off here, but then we have lethal on board, right? We've got attack in for 8. And then an attack in for 6. Liberated by Darkness. That was the only card that that could actually get there. That was the only card that could get there. Pretty good game. All right, into the next game. We've got ourselves a pretty decent hand, to be honest. I'm going to get rid of the Sorceress Blast. My opponent's playing the Thrawn Virgin's Temple, which means they're going to have cards like Karis, for example, which is going to be really tough for us in our specific deck. Looks like they got the Dr. Pershing here to start off. There's Lux Bonteri, not an insane card, but we do have the BAYLAN Skull, which I do quite like. They're going to be able to look at the top cards of our deck. That's fine. We're just going to get in for 2, and then we're going to force throw them. Oh, never mind. We're not going to force throw them. They're going to power the dark side and then draw a card. We're going to claim initiative. I suppose I could have forced throw through them, but not exactly all that powerful had I gone with that decision. Let's go with Lux Bonteri here. And I think I might go Shin plus the force throw now. Takedown, huh? Well, my opponent's got the removal. They clearly have the removal. Let's go with Dooku as the resource here. And then we're just going to go Darth Tyrannus, Ambush, finish off Dr. Pershing. They've drawn a ton of cards here. They have the force, but they haven't been able to do anything really. And yes, they are removing all of our units. Let's deploy. Let's get in for 5. Let's pass. Force throw, probably not a card that's actually even that great in this matchup overall. They've taken a lot of damage. I mean, my opponent's playing the removal side of things, which is okay for them. But I mean, we are going to pump in a lot of damage here. That's another hit for 7. They were able to deploy. We are going to be able to put this, give it hidden, right? And then they can claim initiative here, which is okay. They could have a Super Laser Blast, though. We do have to remember that. Do they have a 5-drop or more on top? Ooh, they have a Rival's Fall. Wow, impressive. Impressive. My opponents kind of had a lot of answers to everything, but they are playing control deck, so it does make sense here. They're going to claim initiative. We're going to play BAYLAN Skull, I suppose. No reason to use the force, so we will force throw our opponent here. Hit their unit for a little bit of damage. There's a Cad Bane. They probably don't care because they're just going to go Super Laser Blast here. Like, it's very obvious what they're going to do here. Wow, who would have expected that? Not I. Let's go Cartel Spacer. Not going to deploy all my units just because my opponent could potentially have another Super Laser Blast. But we'll see. Wow, who would have expected that? Let's pass. I mean, this game is they're playing a control deck, you know? That's just how this game goes. We'll see if they have removal for Savage. They probably do. I would be very surprised if they did not. There's a power of the dark side. We're going to go Cartel Spacer. And we're going to go another Cartel Spacer. Shatter Point. Sure, another Cartel Spacer. Pass. There's a Savage. Savage is going to kill us, huh? Just because we're just killing ourselves. What do they have? Like an Avenger? As I have foreseen. Frozen and Carbonite. Okay, not bad. Let's go Lux Bonteri. I do like the As I Have Foreseen. I think that's pretty cool. We're going to go ahead and give Savage hit in here. They can knock out Savage, assuming they have like a Fell the Dragon, but they're going to need something pretty good. Let's pass. Darth Tyrannus is pretty good. Dooku's pretty good. Lots of good options here. Do they have an answer for Savage? They have something to exhaust Savage. Annihilator. Wow, they have Annihilator, huh? All right. Fair enough. You got it. Let's go ahead and... They're gonna win. They're gonna win because of the Annihilator. That's funny. Good game for my opponent. We don't really have any other options here. They just knock out the Lux Bonteri and then it's GG. So good stuff for them. I could have done like Darth Tyrannus potentially or something, but yeah, I told us, I said, you know, I mean, they just win, you know, they just hit my Crystal Caves for 3. But it's pretty funny. Pretty funny. Yeah, good stuff. They're saying how I did 27 damage. They don't really know how Savage works. Savage hitting us for 9 every single time we don't have the force when he dies. It's probably the problem with Savage up against the control matchup. You know, not too surprised, but that was pretty fun. That was awesome to see. All right, so what do we learn with Third Sister? Well, the deck was actually pretty fun and pretty solid overall. I think the biggest downside of the deck is its 2-drop slots. So first off, Lux Bonteri did actually perform pretty well in a lot of the games. We did end up getting the Lux Bonteri plus BAYLAN Skull kind of combination a few of the games. And of course, yes, your opponent could just not replay the unit, right? But that means that this is a 5-drop that when played bounces something. That's also incredible, right? So that combination is pretty strong. We got it readied up immediately, though, a lot of the times. But the other 2 drops are where the deck really falls apart. There's a lot of the decks that we fought could just kind of dominate the early game because Acolyte of the Beyond is just a 2-3, and Kylo Ren is just a 2-3, and Cartel Space is just a 2-3. I would love to see more Force units, actual Force units on turn 1. That's the key. Because we have a lot of cards like Force Lightning, Force Throw, Sorceress Blast, and Darth Tyrannus that don't work if we don't have Force units. We make up from that with Fifth Brother and Shin Hati. Of course, Acolyte of the Beyond can attack and generate the Force token, so that does work in essence, similar to Kylo Ren, but the for Sorceress Blast, Darth Tyrannus, but it doesn't work for like Force Throw or Force Lightning. So really, the early game needs to be improved for this deck. I think that's the biggest weakness. But the rest of the deck seemed pretty awesome. Like Shin Hati was really good. Darth Tyrannus was amazing. This card is fantastic. BAYLAN Skull ended up being great. Third Sister plus Fall Lightsaber ended up being great. Of course, Fifth Brother is still good. Liberated by Darkness definitely won us a lot of games. I think this probably should be a 3 of. Savage didn't really get there at all in any point. When we got to that point, like, yes, it can't be attacked that turn. But oftentimes our opponents were just playing controlling cards, so they fell the dragon, rivals falled, no gloried, or whatever it was to kill it, and we just ended up losing that way. So pretty good stuff, but hopefully you all enjoyed. Ended up being pretty aggressive and decently strong, and you know what, I was happy with it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.